All right, we are mid-installation of our Lacunza Rustica stove, which is this one right here. It's a DIY model from Lacunza, some assembly required. So I'll just point out how this works. The face is in two parts. You have a nice enameled cast iron front with an attached oven. The other part of the front, which includes the door for the firebox on top, and then a door for the ashtray on bottom, that bolts in right here to the other front component. Behind is the cooktop, and we'll get into that a little more later. So, thought I'd give you a quick overview of how we did this. Not completely done, obviously, but we're right about to install this face and the oven, so we're going to lose sight of a lot of what's inside. So now's the time. So if you come and take a look here, you can see what we did as far as the foundation goes is we put 2 layers of fire brick on a panel of hardy board. So we have, by the way, the fire brick dimensions we have are the larger size that you see here, which is 2.5 by 4.5 by 9. And then we also have this size, which is just half thickness. And what we did on the bottom was we put the larger size flat, and then we put the smaller size flat. And the total of those 2 layers brings it up such that once this face is on and resting here, and the cooktop is resting on the face, you end up with a worktop that's just slightly below standard 36-inch countertop height. So the way we did this was started with the hardy board, 2 layers of the fire brick here. It's all put together with refractory mortar. And then we have I'll just go ahead and put this up there. It's probably a little easier. This will be a bit of a mock-up of how this works. Okay, so we have the firebox door, and as you can see, that allows for a very generous firebox in here, lots of room. You're going to be reaching in with your firewood, and there will be a lot of room down below for coals. The ash, so for example, it's a firebox size of basically a foot tall, 12 inches tall, 9.5 inches wide, and about 16 inches deep. And then we have the ashtray door. We chose to install this ashtray just slightly below the door opening, but it's pretty easy to reach in, pull that out. And then again, lots of room in there. There's some fudge factor. You can move around your different components according to what proportions you want as far as the height of the floor here, and then the grate height up above. So I'll put this back in and then take off this face piece, and you can see how it goes together. So here's how we did this. This center column is what divides the firebox and the ashtray from the oven, which sits right up next to this center column. So the oven is going to be sealed here, sealed to the back, and then it allows for a smokeway coming out of the firebox over here, over the oven, and then a smokeway down the side, and then the smoke continues down around this pillar and then out the flue. Now the flue on these, most likely in your installation, is going to be in the wall. There could be some cases where you have a lot of room for a chimney and you might have that in the room, but that will also force you to have a deeper countertop or have a way of having a regular countertop and then some kind of a ledge to be able to take advantage of that increased depth on the counter. So this is our installation. We have our stovepipe coming in inside the wall. It's going to be hidden by, this is going to be tile and stone. And so we have the flue, the chimney is the chimney brick. The fire brick extends back here into the wall, and that'll all be enclosed in the other room. And it's basically an 8-inch by 8-inch flue. And the way we did this here with the ashtray and the grate is we just did a layer of flat, thicker bricks in here. And then it worked pretty well to do a flat layer of thinner bricks. And then to put these thinner bricks on edge. And that makes a good space for the ashtray. And then also if you cut a little bit of a rabbet in there, then you can allow for this grate, which sits in there nicely. And then just for some sense, this one is going to go here. And then of course we're going to finish this out something like that. And these are necessary in order to protect the face, the enamel on the face of the cast iron here, because that's going to be sensitive to this high heat. So basically, let's go over some dimensions. The overall width of this thing is just shy of 39 inches. It's basically the width of the face once it's assembled. The depth, not including the flue, is 23.5. That would be the outside footprint of this thing. And then these relevant spaces are determined by the size of the oven and where it sits. So you have a 19.5-inch wide space here, and then it is 26.5 up to this smokeway. And the width is 20 inches. And then over here, you're going to have basically between this column and this column, you have a 9.5-inch wide space that extends all the way up to here. And then of course you add your thinner bricks there, and that sets you up for your grate. We are also going to, you can't see it in the video now, but we're going to add another layer of brick, flat, stacked from the floor all the way up to here to insulate the adjacent cabinet from the hot firebox in here. I don't think it'll be necessary to do on this side, and so we're going to hold off on that for now. These are loose. These have not been installed yet because this top layer of brick is what brings it up to the final height that's going to support the cooktop. And there's also going to be a layer of brick. It goes along here. This is also to insulate the enamel of the cast iron on the front from the hot air coming up from the firebox and over. And that extends all the way over to here. So I will do another video once we get the oven and the face installed before we put the cooktop on, so you can get a sense of how that all fits together. The last detail here is this little support wall is what supports the oven in the back, and it also restricts the smokeway to force the smoke toward the front instead of escaping quickly to the back. It allows for more circulation through here and heating of the oven more evenly. I think that's it for now, and we'll show you more later. All right, we are back with the Lacunza Rustica. I wanted to point out how a few of these things turned out after we installed the cast iron face. Worked out great. We've finished all of the brick required to set the countertop or the cooktop. So we're going to do that next, but I wanted to point out this little wall a refractory fire brick is there to protect the enamel of the cast iron face. So you're gonna swing that camera around here and you'll see you're going to put some brick here. This is the grate of the firebox, and you're going to be protecting the face down below the door and then also above the door. So that extends all the way across to protect this face. And then we have just a simple rim of fire brick going all the way around the edge. This had to be notched to allow for one of the ribs of the cast iron cooktop to settle in there, as is this. So that's pretty simple. And then there's just a separation between the area for the cooktop and the flue. As it comes out the back, you need room for that cooktop to sit down in here, and then that all gets hidden in the wall. So as you can see, we've come up 3 courses with the fire brick for the flue, and at this point I'm going to be installing for the flue, going to be installing this clean out / damper. I believe that's what it is. We have a damper here that you can pull out to restrict the airflow going up the chimney, and then we'll be adapting that to the metal vestas up above. Pretty straightforward. I'll do another final video on the install of the cooktop, and we'll go from there. Okay, we are back with the Lacunza. We installed the top, as you can see, and I wanted to show you this before we cover it up with hardy board. That this is our chimney going up back, and then we had to neck it down to provide a good spot for this clean out. So what you get in the bag, I only have one of them installed, but they come with 2. One to go here as well. These are anchors. You're going to mortar those in to your masonry. So this is a clean out, and it's a spot for your damper to slide in and out. So I just left the opening, the width of just slightly wider than the clean out. And then coming up here, you need to make a slot for the channel that your damper slides in and out of. So you have a slot in the masonry. This is all going to be cemented in, and then this damper slides in and out. So, and then obviously adapt it to whatever kind of chimney and or metal vestas flue you're going to have. And now we're off to fire it up and try it out. All right, we are back with the Lacunza Rustica. I wanted to show you some of the final features here. We didn't get it completely finished, but the stove is fully functional now, and I wanted to show you the damper assembly here after it was installed. So we had a hardy board backsplash area. This has been adhered directly to the chimney behind, and so if we take these loose, you'll be able to see the clean out to get into this. You can clean out the chimney back there, pretty straightforward. And then this is the damper, and it works really well. So what I can say about this stove is it's very effective. The heating in the oven is very even, top, side, and bottom. On the left side, we weren't sure if our horizontally placed bricks would work better or a vertically placed brick would, but we went horizontal and it's worked great. So very impressive stove, very happy with it. The installation was pretty straightforward. That's about it. Enjoy.